Good morning, students. In the last class we have discussed about the PN junction and the working of PN junction diode. So PN junction is formed by doping a intrinsic semiconductor, one half by N type material and one half by P type material. And once junction is formed, a layer is formed across the junction between the P and N, and that layer is called depletion layer, and the width of the depletion layer decreases in forward bias and increases in reverse bias. So and PN junction diode conducts only in forward bias, and in reverse bias it does not allow the current to flow. Okay, that we have discussed in the last. Now in this class we discuss about the application of PN junction diode. So what is the application of PN junction diode is, it is used as rectifier. It is used the main application of PN junction diode is rectifier. So what is meant by rectification is, rectification is the process of converting alternating current into direct current. So rectification means the process of converting alternating current into direct current. As you know, alternating current means it will have positive and negative half cycles. Usually we take it as sinusoidal like this. So that means the polarity changes at regular intervals of time. Okay, positive, minus, suppose, whereas in DC, with respect to time, the voltage remains constant like this. Whereas in case of AC, with respect to time, there is a variation of voltage with respect to time like this. Okay, and that means the polarity changes at regular intervals. That means that is called frequency. Whatever regular intervals, frequency. So changes alternatively across the application. Now the process of converting this AC into this DC is called rectification. And the device that we use for rectification is PN junction diode. So this PN junction diode is used as rectifier. Okay. Rectification means process of converting alternating current into direct current, and the device used for rectification is called rectifier. That means rectifier is the device used for rectification, and that rectification, the device is PN junction diode. So PN junction diode is used as rectifier. So the process, how the PN junction diode rectifies. We'll see. So first you have to remember is, when PN junction diode is in forward bias, that means this is P and this is N. It is a symbolic representation of circuit symbol of PN junction diode. This triangle is P and this line is N. When this P is connected to positive half cycle and negative N is connected to negative terminal of the battery, current flows through this circuit. But when it is in reverse bias, current does not flow across this junction. Okay, that we know. So using this property, we use this PN junction diode as a rectifier. Now first one is half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier means this is the circuit for this is the circuit for half wave rectifier. Okay. Now how this half wave rectifier works? So this is first the input voltage, that means the AC to be rectified is connected to a primary of a transformer. This is the transformer, actually you know the symbol of transformer. So this is the transformer. So the AC, the alternating current to be rectified is connected to the primary of the transformer, and this secondary, it is connected to a PN junction diode like this, and that is connected in series with a load resistance like this. Okay. So this is the circuit for half wave rectifier. So primary, the primary is connected to the input and the secondary is connected to the PN junction diode in series with a load resistance, and the output is taken across this load resistance RL. Okay. Now how this PN junction diode works? As you know, this is the symbol for alternating current, you know, this is the symbol of alternating current, this is the symbol of direct current, as you know. Okay. Now this particular input voltage, alternating current, gives alternating voltages like this. Now this is the input of the source like this. This is V in. That means it gives positive half cycle and negative half cycles. Okay. So with respect to time, its voltage varies like this, and it possesses both positive and negative values like this periodically, changes periodically. Now suppose assume that during this positive half cycle, this is positive half cycle, this is negative half cycle. This is cycle, that means one complete oscillation is called a cycle. So this is positive half cycle and this is negative half cycle. Okay. Now during this positive half cycle, this terminal becomes positive and this terminal becomes negative. Okay. Automatically this terminal becomes positive, this terminal becomes negative. Okay. This term during the positive half cycle, assume that this terminal is positive with respect to this terminal. That means this PN junction, P is, this is P and this is N. So P is connected to positive, N is connected to negative. That means this diode is in forward bias. Okay. During positive half cycle, this terminal become positive with respect to this terminal, and so that this P is higher potential are connected to positive terminal and this N is connected to N, negative terminal. So that this PN junction diode is in forward bias. As you know, in PN junction diode is in forward bias, current flows through the PN junction. So it allows current to flow like this, and that current flows through this resistance, and that is equal to V out is equal to, we get the output voltage across. Suppose if we assume I is the current passing through this PN junction diode, then this V output is equal to I into RL. Okay. Now the output will be like this. One minute. Okay. Now when this is positive and this is negative, first during positive half cycle like this becomes positive and this becomes negative, so that this PN junction is in forward bias. Suppose assume a current I passes through this load, this PN junction, and as this load resistance is also connected to this series, so that same current flow through this load resistance. Now this V output is given by I into RL. Okay. Correspondingly, in output we get a half cycle like this. So this is during this half cycle we get an output like this. Now during this negative half cycle, this terminal become negative and this terminal become positive. Okay. First initially this one plus and this is negative, and second during negative half cycle this is negative, this is positive. So that the same appears across this also. So PN junction is in reverse bias because P is connected to the negative and N is connected to positive. So this PN junction is in reverse bias, so that it does not allow current and it does not conduct, so that we won't get any half cycle here. Now in the next half cycle, that means again in this half cycle, again this becomes positive, and this becomes negative. Again this PN junction diode is in forward bias and at contact, and gives an output of V out equal to IRL. So that in this case we get another half cycle like this. And next half cycle this becomes negative and this becomes negative, this becomes positive again. This becomes negative and this becomes positive. So that this PN junction is again in reverse bias, it does not conduct. Okay, that in that place we won't get any rectification. So in that case we won't get any output. Okay, in this way we get only positive half cycles like this. That means we get only positive half cycles. Okay, because in reverse bias this particular PN junction diode does not conduct. Okay, as this particular rectifier rectifies only one half cycle of a complete cycle, this is called half wave rectifier, because it is not rectifying full wave. Okay, as negative wave during the negative half cycles, this particular diode is not conducting or not rectifying or not converting into AC. So that's why it is called half wave rectifier. Okay, the simple working of this half wave rectifier is during positive half cycle, this particular PN junction diode conducts and gives output. But during negative half cycles, it does not conduct, it does not give output. Okay, that's why as it is rectifying only one half of a cycle, this is called half wave rectifier. Okay, now the efficiency of this half wave rectifier is eta is given as 0.406 into RL by RF plus RL. So efficiency means ability of conducting, efficiency to convert from one form to another form is its efficiency. Here the efficiency indicates the percentage how much it is converting an AC into DC, because it is given as 0.406 RL by RF. That means as it is converting only one half cycle of AC, so its efficiency is approximately 40.6. Okay, where in this RL is this load resistance and this small r is called forward resistance of this the diode. Okay, so this is the efficiency of half wave rectifier. That means during forward bias it allows very small resistance. If that is small r, if you assume that is small r, then the efficiency of this half wave rectifier is 0.406 RL by R plus RL. Okay. Now this is the simple working of this half wave rectifier. So what is this half wave rectifier is, it consists only one PN junction diode, and it is connected in the secondary of the transformer, and in primary the input is connected or alternating current is connected in the primary, and this PN junction diode is connected in series with a load resistance, and output is taken across this load resistance. And the working is, during positive half cycle, this PN junction diode is in, or diode whatever it is, this PN junction diode is in forward bias, it conducts, and in reverse bias it does not conduct. So that negative half during the negative half cycle, this particular circuit does not rectify. So this is called half wave rectifier. Now another circuit, full wave rectifier. So full wave rectifier, that means it by the name itself it converts both the half cycles. Full wave rectifier. By the name itself we can say it converts both the half cycles. Okay. Now let us see what in this also. Okay. This is the full wave rectifier circuit. So in this also the input AC is connected in the primary, as connected to the primary of a transformer, and in secondary two diodes are connected, because in half wave rectifier we use only one diode, but in full wave rectifier we use two diodes D1 and D2, which are connected like this to the primary of a secondary of the transformer. And there is a special arrangement called center tap device is connected to this load through this load resistance R. Okay, like this, and this is grounded, that means this is always at zero potential or negative potential. Okay. Now this is the circuit of this, and output is taken across this load resistance RL, and this symbol indicates that this wire is not connected to this wire. That means if we write like this, that means here it is a junction where we can apply Kirchhoff's laws. That means this wire and this wire are connected here. But if we write a symbol like this, so this wire is that means there is no connection between these two wires. Okay, that means here we cannot apply the Kirchhoff's laws. Okay, that means this wire and this wire are different, they are not connected to one another. Okay. Now how this full wave rectifier works, we see. Okay. Similarly, similar to that of half wave rectifier, here also the input gives positive half cycle and a negative half cycle at regular intervals of time. So, now first consider that during this positive half cycle, this A becomes positive and this is negative, B becomes negative. Okay. Now, that means this particular PN junction diode D1 is in forward bias because its P is connected to positive and N is connected to negative, actually like this. So, this N is connected to here like this. Okay. This is a circuit like this. Actually, sorry, 1 minute. Actually, this is the connection. This is the load resistance here. Through this, we get like this. This is the connection. Okay. As this is positive and this is negative means usually what happens is the potential difference decreases slowly, so that this particular C, that means the center tap C position, is at lower potential than that of this A and higher potential that of B. That means if B is connected to negative like this B, so this diode D2 is in reverse bias. Okay. During positive half cycle, this PN junction diode D1 is in forward bias and D2 is in reverse bias. Okay. So, during positive half cycle, the current flows through this junction diode D1 and current does not flow across this D2. So, during positive half cycle, we get a half cycle like this in the output. Okay. Now, during negative half cycle, this A becomes negative and B becomes positive. That means D2 will be in forward bias, D1 will be in reverse bias. Okay. Okay. During positive half cycle, D1 is in forward bias and it conducts, and during negative half cycle, D2 is in forward bias and it conducts, and D1 is in reverse bias, it does not conduct. So that the output is like this. Okay. Now, again during this positive half cycle, positive half cycle, A become positive, B become negative, and again D1 is in forward bias, D2 is in reverse bias. So, we will get a output like this. And next half cycle, A become negative, B become positive. And in this case, D2 is in forward bias, D1 is in reverse bias. So that we get another output like this. Okay. So that total cycle, that means full cycle is rectified like this. Okay. So it is called full wave rectified. Okay. The simple thing you have to remember is, in half wave rectifier we use single diode, in full wave rectifier we use two diodes, and they are connected like this, so that during one half cycle one diode is in forward bias, other is in reverse bias. During negative half cycle, second one is in forward bias, first one is in reverse bias. So that during two half cycles, one of the conductor will conduct, one of the diode will conduct, so that we will get an output voltage across this load resistance. So that the output will be like this. Okay. And this is full wave rectifier. Okay. So in this way, this circuit, that means this circuit completely converts the AC into DC. So this is called full wave rectifier. Okay. So the working as now again, what is full wave rectifier is? Full wave rectifier circuit consists of two diodes, and the input is given in the primary of the transformer, and the two diodes are connected in the secondary by a special arrangement called a center tap, and the output is taken across this load resistance RL. During positive half cycle, the diode D1 will conduct and D2 will be in reverse bias. During negative half cycles, diode D1 is in reverse bias and diode D2 is in forward bias, and D2 will conduct. So that we will get an output during both the half cycles like this. Okay. Now the efficiency of this for full wave rectifier is, its efficiency is given by 0.812 RL by R plus RL. That means it converts the alternating current 80% of the alternating current into direct current. So its efficiency is about 81%. Okay. Here also RL is this load resistance and R is the forward resistance of the diode. Here also the small r is the forward resistance of diode. I am not going to derive this relation because it is not necessary for you. So you take just this relation only. Okay. So full wave rectifier efficiency is about 81%. Okay. Now the difference between the full wave and half wave rectifier is, in half wave rectifier we use only one diode, and in full wave rectifier we use two diodes. And forward in half wave rectifier, it rectifies or conducts only during positive half cycles, whereas in the full wave rectifier both the diodes conduct during each half cycle. One of the diode conducts in one half cycle, other will conduct in the other half cycle. In that way both the half cycles are rectified, so that it is full wave rectifier, and its efficiency is given by this relation 0.812 RL by R plus RL, where RL is the load resistance and R is the forward resistance of the diode. Now, as we know, in full wave the output of the half wave rectifier is like this. And that of full wave rectifier is like this. Okay. Now, the frequency of this output increases by 2 times compared to the alternating current input. Okay. Okay. This is the time period T. Okay. This is the time period T. This is the full cycle. Okay. Now, that is alternating current and these two are direct current, but this is DC, but there is a variation of this voltage. Okay. So here what is the difference to here and here is, here the voltage value changes negative values like this, but here there is only positive values only. So that we can consider this as DC, because you may have a doubt that here there are variations in even the means half cycles are there in this rectified output, but these voltage values or output values are only in positive values only. There is no negative value. That's why we can consider as DC, because in DC what DC is, it is unidirectional. There is no changes in the direction alternatively. So this is also DC, but it has variations in positive to in the positive values itself, but a peak value to 0 value. Okay, there is a variation of this voltage from peak value to 0 and again 0 to peak value. So this is called pulsating output or pulsating DC, or ripples in the output. What we can say is ripples in the output. Okay, that means this is DC only, but it is not pure DC, we can say. That means because there is a variation of voltage, there is a variation in voltage from a peak value to 0 and 0 to a peak value. Okay, but there is no negative values in this. That's why it is considered as DC. Whereas in this there is a negative values alternatively. So this is called, this is taken as alternating current or AC. Actually, in a pure DC, we have to get an output like this. With respect to time, there is no variation. It must remain constant like this. But here what is happening is it is pulsating. Pulsating means it is varying from like this, variations of like this. So this is called pulsating DC. It is not a perfect DC, a pure DC. It is a pulsating DC. To get to reduce these variations, we use filter circuits. Okay. We use filter circuits to get a perfect or pure DC, or to reduce these ripples in a output given by the full wave rectifier or half wave rectifier. Okay. The filter means it is a circuit or a device used to reduce the variations of or remove or filter the ripples present in the output given by the rectifier. Okay. So usually we use shunt capacitor filter or series inductor filter. Okay. Now we discuss like this. Suppose this is the input given to a rectifier and this is the rectifier. This is input. Okay. So this rectifier gives a DC and this is connected to a capacitor like this and a load resistance like this. The output is taken across this resistance. So rectifier means the full wave rectifier. Already we have discussed in the previously we have discussed about this rectifier. So that rectifier is connected like this. That means the output of this rectifier is connected to a capacitor and in parallel with a resistance R like this. So this gives a rectifier of filter circuit. How this filter circuit means, during actually what happens is like this. Like this. Okay. Now assume that this is approximately 5 volt or like that. Assume that the variations is from 0 to 5 and 5 to 0, again 0 to 5, 5 to 0. In this way the voltage value changes by in the output of this rectifier circuit. Now suppose during this variation from 0 to 5, the voltage across this resistance, that is current, increases. As voltage is increasing like this, current increases. But across this capacitor, what happens is this capacitor gets charged. Okay, it gets charged. That means this charging, that means growth of charge across this capacitor take place. Okay, once it reaches the peak value 5 and again it decreases to 0. In that case, the current across this load resistance decreases. So at that time this capacitor also has to discharge. Okay, it has to discharge the charge. So as we know, while growth time is less compared to the time taken to decay is more compared to growth of this charge as in a capacitor. So as it takes more time, that means the RC time constant is more for a decay circuit or discharge circuit. It takes more, that means it won't fall sharply to 0 as that of this current I. So the output becomes like this. So it takes more time, so that it takes more time. In even this time, this again comes to 0 and again rises to 5, so that you get like this. Like this. That means, or we can say like this, as we know, the capacitive reactance is given by 1 by 2 pi FL. If the frequency is high, this reactance is low. That means reactance means resistance. This capacitive reactance is low. So for high frequencies, this capacitive reactance is low. That means, what happens? The alternating current flows through this capacitor, so that the capacitor output is like this. That means we have reduced the variations from 5 to 0 to from another value like this. Okay. In this way, this capacitor filter works. Okay. Now, if we use also inductor or capacitor resistance, inductor resistance filter also, but it is not our. Okay. Now, as you know, in reverse bias for junction diode, as we increase the reverse voltage at a particular voltage, what happens is the current suddenly rises, and that particular voltage at which this sudden rise of current takes place is called breakdown. Okay. In the reverse bias, we have observed that like this, due to minority carriers, a small current flows across the junction like this. With the increase in voltage, this increases and suddenly rises like this. And at a particular point, the current suddenly rises, and that particular voltage we define as breakdown voltage. So there are two types of breakdowns, which are avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown. Okay. So there are two types of breakdowns, avalanche and Zener breakdown. Okay, what is Zener breakdown and what is avalanche breakdown is, as we know, when PN junction is in reverse bias and the applied voltage is increased, what happens is as we know, in a PN junction diode in reverse bias, this width of this depletion layer increases, as we know. For a lightly doped PN junction diode, that means not lightly doped PN junction, that means the doping density is less, that means very small. In that case, as we discussed in the depletion layer, for small doping, this width of this depletion layer depends on the doping concentration. As we know, this width of this depletion layer depends upon doping density or doping concentration. Okay. So if the density of doping is less, the width of this depletion layer will be more. If the width of this layer is small, when the doping density is large. Okay. Now consider that if the doping density is less. Okay. When the doping density is less, in that case, if we apply a reverse bias to a PN junction diode, or a reverse bias lightly doped PN junction diode in reverse bias, what happens is, as the current flows across this junction due to minority carriers, and that we call reverse saturation current, that will be in the order microamperes. But as we increase the applied voltage, what happens is these minority carriers will be accelerated by the applied electric field. Okay. So for a lightly doped PN junction diode in reverse bias, when the reverse voltage is increased, these minority carriers are accelerated by the applied voltage. So that they are accelerated means they gain kinetic energy. Okay. They may collide with the electrons within these bonds. Okay. They are accelerated and they may collide with the electrons within the bonds, because these are free electrons. whereas bonded electrons which are bound in covalent bonds are bonded electrons. So when these minority carriers are accelerated and they may collide with the bonded electrons, they may knock out these bonded electrons from the atoms. So that free electron carrier, that means whenever a bonded electron becomes free electron, comes out of the bond, it becomes a free electron. So in this way, the number of free electrons increases and holes also increases, so that the free charge carrier density increases. So sudden rise of current takes place at that particular voltage. Okay. So in a lightly doped p-n junction diode in reverse bias, with the increase in the applied voltage, the minority carriers in the junction diode, in that diode, are accelerated and knock out the electrons in the covalent bonds, so that free electron density increases or free charge carrier density increases, and suddenly the current increases at a particular voltage, and that voltage is called breakdown voltage, and this phenomena is called avalanche breakdown. Okay, and this phenomena is called avalanche breakdown. But in case of highly doped p-n junction or heavily doped p-n junction, for heavy doping density, what happens is the width of this layer is small. Which layer? Depletion layer. For a lightly doped one, the width is more. So when it is heavily doped, then this width of this depletion layer become thin. Okay. So now if this p-n junction diode is also in reverse bias, that means assume that a heavy doped p-n junction diode in reverse bias. So in this case, due to this small thickness, what happens is there is a strong electric field across this junction, because barrier potential, there is a barrier potential divided by the thickness gives the electric field. Actual electric field is gradient of potential. So potential by distance, across the distance across which the potential acts is the applied field, electric field. So due to this, thickness is small means, if thickness is small means E value is more. E value is more means it becomes strong electric field. So in a heavily doped p-n junction diode in reverse bias, a strong electric field is established across this junction. So due to this strong electric field, what happens? It ruptures the covalent bonds, and so that free charge carriers are liberated. Okay, due to the strong electric field, what happens is the electrons may come out of, that means gaining that electrical energy, they may come out of their bonds. So that in that case also, free charge carrier density increases suddenly and current increases through that junction diode, and this is called Zener breakdown. Okay, so Zener breakdown takes place only in heavily doped p-n junction in reverse bias. If the applied voltage across the p-n junction in reverse applied voltage is due to that reverse applied voltage, strong electric fields are established across this p-n junction diode or depletion layer, so that which may break the covalent bonds and they liberate these electrons as free electrons. So in that way, the free electron density increases, so that current across the junction increases suddenly, and this breakdown is called Zener breakdown. Okay. So this Zener breakdown is used as voltage regulator, and this diode is called Zener diode. So that means a diode which in reverse bias undergo a Zener breakdown, a diode which in reverse bias undergo a Zener breakdown is called Zener diode. Okay, a PN junction diode which is used in reverse bias and undergoes a Zener breakdown is called a Zener diode, and the main application of this Zener diode is voltage regulator. Zener diode is voltage regulator. Okay, now what voltage regulator and what is? So already we know the PN junction is, the symbol for PN junction diode is this one is the PN junction diode symbol. Now the diode junction symbol is this one is the diode. This is PN junction diode and this is Zener diode. So just you have to say like this Z symbol like this for a PN junction. Okay. So Zener diode. So Zener diode means a diode which undergoes Zener breakdown in reverse bias. So in the forward bias, both Zener diode has same characteristics as that of the ordinary PN junction diode. In forward bias, there is no variation of in characteristic as that of the ordinary PN junction. But the only difference in reverse bias is the Zener breakdown is the variation. So actually what happens, the difference between these two is in ordinary junction diode the reverse saturation current flows like this. That means here the reverse current gradually increases like this and suddenly it undergoes breakdown. But in case of Zener diode, what happens is there is no variation of such, very small current flows across the junction and suddenly rises like this. So this is the variation between avalanche breakdown and Zener diode. Zener, that means it almost parallel to this this voltage axis and suddenly current rises. Whereas in this current gradually increases and breakdown takes place at a particular voltage. But in this the current is approximate, very small current flows constantly like this, almost parallel to this y axis like this, and suddenly this current, this is Vz. So that is Zener voltage. Now if you take the consider, this is the current I and this is the voltage V, and after this breakdown voltage, at that particular breakdown voltage, even though current increases, the voltage across the junction remains at Vz. So this particular property is used as voltage regulator. Okay, if even though there is a small variations in current, the voltage across the junction diode remains constant, and that is Zener voltage, Zener breakdown voltage. So that this particular property is used as voltage regulation. So Zener diode is used as voltage regulator. Okay. Zener diode as voltage regulator. So what is voltage regulator means? Voltage regulator is a device used to give which gives constant output voltage even though there is a variations or changes in the input. Okay, a device which gives constant output voltage even though there is a variations in the input voltage, and that device is called voltage regulator. So what we say, stabilizer or something. So voltage regulator means a device which gives constant output. So for that we use this Zener diode in reverse bias. Okay, so Zener diode in reverse bias used as voltage regulator. Now if we see the voltage regulator circuit of this is like this. Okay, this is the circuit for voltage regulator using a Zener diode. So input is given from this. So input is connected to this VI junction diode in reverse bias through a resistor R, and RL is the load resistance across which we can take the output voltage like this. Okay, now suppose assume that I of current I flows through this. So and this current across this and across this is, and this is IL load current, and this is Zener current IZ. So now by applying Kirchhoff laws at this junction, current law at this junction, the incoming current I is equal to sum of the outgoing currents IZ plus IL. And again applying Kirchhoff's second law, voltage law, V input is equal to, now I total one, this one. So V input is equal to IR plus ILRL, that is IR minus V out, sorry, plus V out. Okay. Now this is the circuit diagram of voltage regulator. Okay. Now suppose assume that if there is an increase in the input voltage, so input voltage is fluctuating, even though we have to get a constant voltage across this output must be constant. So suppose assume that there is a increase in the input voltage. So if there is an increase in input voltage, what happens is this current I increases. Okay, what happens is this current I increases. So this current I increases. This increase has to be taken by IZ and IL. Okay, but this current is absorbed by IZ only, so that IL remains constant. So whatever the increase in I, it is taken by IZ. That means IZ value increases and IL remains constant. If IL remains constant, so IL remains constant, so that output remains constant. What happens when IZ increases means, if IZ increases, if there is an increase in or decrease in at the breakdown voltage, as we know, this is the character like this we have. This is VZ. After VZ, if there is an increase in current, there is no change in the voltage VZ. So that if the current IZ increases, even though the voltage across this junction remains constant. So if VZ is constant means this is constant to ILRL, so that output remains constant. Suppose assume that VL is decreased, that means a small decrease in voltage. Okay, low voltage is, the input is low voltage. In that case what happens is I decreases. Even I decreases, then IZ decreases, so that IL remains constant. So that this VZ, again if there is a small change in IL, even though current decreases in IL, VZ remains constant. So that VZ remains constant, the output remains constant. So in this way, this Zener junction diode, Zener diode acts as voltage regulator. Okay, now in the second case, if we consider reverse case, suppose if there is a variation of load, that means input is constant, input voltage is constant, but there is a variations in the load. Now in that case, suppose if RL increases, load increases, then this, if RL increases means current decreases, because the current actually IL has to decrease, but IL remains constant, that IZ decreases. So that IL remains constant, so that ILRL remains constant. Okay. Similarly, if RL decreases, IL increases, so that is compensated by IZ. Okay. In this way, as this voltage regulator, even though variations in input or variations in load. Okay.